What's up, guys? MD Online Editor Ron Harris here on a Sunday, as most of the world is locked down and quarantined. Want to hear from you guys. Want to hear how you're doing, how you're coping, how you're staying sane, how you're keeping busy without being able to go to the gym, to the restaurant, to bars, clubs, sporting events, anywhere really, except for buying food. What else can you do? You can go to the doctor. You can go to medical appointments. I think you can still get your car repaired if you need to. But yeah, very, very limited for us right now. I'll start off with a pet peeve of mine. Some people are still going to the gym. Some people are still have access to gyms, either their private gyms or their commercial gyms that are closed. Yeah, when do gyms open? Somebody here just texted me when are gyms going to be open? Nobody knows for sure when. They had a target date. I think they were saying April 1st, which that's not going to happen. That's just a couple days away. That's not going to happen. April 7th. It's going to depend. The governments are going to watch the cases, and when the cases peak and then go down, that's when they will probably feel safe in allowing people to be around each other again, and that's when businesses can reopen. We're not at that point yet. We're still seeing every day a surge in cases. In the U.S., it's particularly bad in some places. I think New York, Miami, Los Angeles, Chicago, certain cities. New York for sure. New York City is getting hammered. They have not seen the worst of it. I think things in New York City are going to get apocalyptic within the next week or so. Man, it's just a lot of humanity. Think about the subways. Think about all those people crammed into those subway cars, breathing, sneezing, coughing, touching things. Hello, mate. Injected my left glute 5 days ago. When working on, started to bleed a little. Inject the other side. Noticed a red spot where the failed injection was today. I noticed. What was the question about your glute injection? What kind of gear would I run right now? Minimal. A wet patch where the failed injection was. Ricky Murray, it sounds like some of the oil leaked out. It happens. It happened to me. Yeah, Mayor Bodybuilding Dan says 19 million people in New York City. That's far exceeds the population of many countries on this planet. So, and they're dense. The population is so dense. That's why it's really, really dangerous in New York. So many people spread that virus. So many people carried it. You're welcome, Ricky. Why are you guys talking about juice? Arthur Shaw, you're right. But you know what? It's Sunday. We're under quarantine. I'll answer any questions within reason. Hey, Arthur Shaw, any questions within reason, I will answer because I don't have to eat for about a half hour, so I'm good. I'm keeping up my meal schedule. I'm not training as much because I'm training at home. I have 3 sets of dumbbells. I have a chin-up bar and a stationary bike. Don't have a bench. Don't have any kind of barbell. Not even an easy curl bar. So I have some bands that I don't really like them. I got into it on Facebook the other day, or was it here? I don't even know. Somebody was saying, "How dare you talk shit about bands?" I'm like, dude, I don't like them. Yeah, Arthur, that's all because 300 mil a week, testy only. That's low enough not to. Yeah, Ricky, I think you can get away with. Scott Rosardi, what's up, Scott? Local guy. Yeah, I contemplate competing again. Sure, I need a sponsor. I need a sponsor for the good stuff. What's up with juice and Corona? Shouldn't we speak juice? No, it's okay, Ricky. I'm cool with it. We don't have to only talk about the friggin' Corona. I get tired of hearing about it and talking about it. If you guys want to talk about steroids, I'm not an expert, but I know a little bit. I'll talk to you. Sure. Yeah, like I said, I would not be running a ton of gear right now unless you're in some situation where you have your normal workout facilities available to you. And like I said when I started this a few minutes ago, some people do. Some people are still, they either know the owner of a commercial gym and they're just letting a couple people in at a time when they're not supposed to be letting anybody in, but they are. There's a lot of small private gyms. Yeah, Ricky, I got a couple weights, nothing. Evan has a great home gym. Yeah, the people that invested in home gyms, they're in a great spot right now, like Evan Centopani. I asked Evan, how long would it start losing muscle mass if you're not working out, Devin? I would say probably about a week to 2 weeks, you'll start losing muscle mass. There have been actual scientific studies you can Google, and I believe you start losing muscle within 7 to 10 days. It's minute. It's a very small amount of muscle. And whatever you lose right now, guys, it's going to come right back. I talked about this the other day when I did one of these. When we can all go back to the gym, and especially those of us who are either not training or I'm training, but it's very limited equipment. I'm not doing anywhere near as much for the body parts because, like for chest, all I'm doing for chest is push-ups and floor presses. Keep your diet. Yeah. Ricky, like Ricky said, I would suggest to everybody, do not get fat. Do not do this quarantine snack thing because that's going to be a double whammy. If you add body fat, what gear would you run? Scott, all I need is growth hormone. If I had growth hormone, because I can't spend money on myself. I'm a dad and I can't, Fangoria. Say that thing about Fangoria again. I missed that. Type that again. I totally missed it because I used to get Fangoria magazine. Whoever just said something about Fangoria, please post that again. What the hell was I talking about? It's a problem. I lose my train of thought when I'm trying to respond to one question and I see another question. But yeah. Just talking about would I compete again? Absolutely. If I could get someone to cover the chemical side for me, and I'm cool with the regular gear. That's not that expensive. It's the growth. I get shit on a lot by people for answering that. 2 kids, test D and D ball only for me. Yeah, I mean Ricky. This is not the time for anyone. Like I said, unless you have an awesome gym. Evan Centopani I was referring to him a second ago. He has a great home gym, and I remember when he started putting it together a couple of years ago. I'm like, why are you doing this? Because you have one of the best gyms in the country, the Montanari Brothers Super Gym, Powerhouse Gym in New Haven, Connecticut. It's like a 10-minute drive from his house, 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe. I don't know. It's an awesome gym. It's one of the best gyms I've ever trained at. I said, why would you even bother? He said, sometimes I don't want to go to the gym. I just want to do this or that body part real quick, and I don't feel like going all the way to the gym to do it. So Evan has, I think he's got like a hack squat, leg press, squat, a power rack, all kinds of barbells, dumbbells. It's basically a full gym in his basement. So he's in a great spot right now. If someone's in that position where you can train pretty much the same way you've been training, I think he's even got like a cable set up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does. Evan's very handy. He can build stuff. Last time I was out of shape, I mean, a lot of times in the winter, right around, by the time I get to Christmas, New Year's, a lot of times I'd be out of shape. I'm getting better and better. Now I don't get out of shape anymore. But it's probably been as recently as 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I would get, well, anything over 230 on me. I'm on 5'7.5" now. Anything over 230 and I'm looking pretty sloppy. So I keep my weight down. Like right now, 220. I'm good at 220. Yeah, I think Mayor says, I think Evan's going to do New York Pro. Juice Fights Corona. Ahmed, we actually did, if you go to our YouTube channel, which you're watching right now, I did a show with Thomas O'Connor, Ask the Anabolic Doc. Our last new episode we did a couple weeks ago was not even a couple weeks ago, we were talking about that. HRT protocol, I do 200 milligrams every 4th day of test cypionate and a half a mil. So, and also I add in 100 milligrams of DECA on those days. Trying to gain muscle mass. What should my carb intake look like? It depends. It's different for everybody. If you're not gaining, eat more carbs. If you are gaining, there's no amount of carbs there's no amount of carbs that's perfect for everybody, even if you tell me your height and weight. Patrick, I read when you were a kid, read Fangoria magazine. Yeah. Horror movies. See Blackman sponsor you. What was your favorite horror movie? Oh, favorite horror movie? The Exorcist. All day, all night, bro. Look at this. This is a piece of artwork my son-in-law got for me. Can you see it? The Exorcist. Love that freaking movie. And let me roll up my sleeve a little bit here. You can check this out. I have the Reagan tattoo. Reagan from The Exorcist tattooed on my right wrist, I guess that would be. I missed that last question. Something about hyperthyroidism. Yeah, I mean, The Exorcist, I've seen that. To me, that's the scariest movie of all time, and I've seen thousands of horror movies. That's my favorite genre of movie. I've seen so many. Most horror movies are awful. They're just awful. They're not done very well. And the prequel to The Exorcist that they came out with about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, Heritage of Horror. No, I haven't read that. I just finished a book of short stories called Throttle by Joe Hill, Stephen King's son. Stephen King's my favorite writer, in case anybody didn't know. Conjuring 2, I like Conjuring 2. Did not like Conjuring. Oh, they've only had 2 so far. Conjuring 2 was the Enfield poltergeist, right? Yeah. Not as good as the first one. I like the first one a lot. I've probably seen The Conjuring 6 or 8 times by now. Ed and Lorraine Warren, I'm fascinated. I'll show you another. Here's a great book for, I know I'm getting way off topic, guys. This is a great book. It's called The Demonologist, The Extraordinary Career of Ed and Lorraine Warren. And that's the true stories, like the Annabelle stories in there. The Conjuring 2, the Enfield Poltergeist, that's in there. And it's got the real facts, the real story in there before director James Wan and Hollywood sort of made things, change things around to make it more palatable for a movie format. I have hypothyroidism. Is test safe for me? Croatia. Hey, I got a Croatia T-shirt. I don't know the answer to that one. Paranormal Activity. Yeah, guys, I don't know much about hypothyroidism. I'm definitely not. A Never-Ending Story. That was a horror movie. Jack Black was actually in Never-Ending Story 2, I think, in the beginning. Phantasm. Yeah, dude. I saw Phantasm shortly after it came out. And when did that come out? 78? 79? So I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. Exorcism of Emily Rose. I love that one. DNP, Johan Johansson. I don't like it. I think it's too dangerous to use. I steer clear. I've never used it. I tell people to stay away from it. I can't talk everyone out of using it. I know there's coaches that say, if you know what you're doing, if you dose it properly, you'll have no problems. But it's an underground drug. I wouldn't trust that what I have is dosed the way it's supposed to be dosed. I'd just be too worried about it. There's no reason. I've gotten in great shape many times naturally before I even started any drugs. And then once I went over to the dark side, never used any thyroid drugs. Did use clenbuterol many times for probably about 8 or more preps. Worked very well. Yohimbine bark, but I never needed DNP. I don't think anybody needs DNP, really. Schedule's all off. I can't get any 3 meals a day. Yeah, Matt, if you can't get all your meals in, go for shakes, protein shakes. They take, if you have them already mixed up in a container, like I always keep a container with a protein shake with like 100 grams. That's what I make each container. It's like, a 20 ounce shaker container with 100 grams of protein in it. So that'll last me, that's easily 2 servings for me. Yeah, Patrick, I do online consultations. Hit me up on Instagram at Ron Harris Muscle. I do charge. So I'm telling you right now, there's no free lunch, guys. I'm sorry. My time is very valuable. So I do have to charge. Do I think anyone trains for 3 to 5 years to build a natural base, Dan? Yeah, I think some people do. I trained for 13 years building a natural base. 13. That's not 3, guys. I said 13 before I ever tried anything. That's a long time. I know most people would never, ever want to wait that long. Ideal weight classes based on height. That's classic physique. They have weights based on your height. And you can't really do that for open bodybuilding because open bodybuilding, the goal is to get as big as humanly possible. So, yeah, you get as big as you can. Microtech whey protein. I don't know what that company is. Balkan Knife. All top protein. Right now, I'm using Redcon One. Their whey protein. I like it. Glutes. Ricky, I think the only 2 spots to inject safely are the delts and the glutes. You'll hear guys that inject everywhere. Their biceps, their triceps, their lats, their this, their that. I've talked to Dr. Tuliados. We do a show every Monday and put it out every Tuesday on this channel called Ask Dr. Testosterone. And that has come up a couple times. And he's a doctor in Greece who's very, very well informed on steroid use. And he doesn't suggest injecting anywhere other than glutes and delts. Those are the 2 best muscle groups to put them in. I would definitely steer clear of the legs. I've had a lot of problems. I'm never going to inject my quads again, ever, ever, ever. I've had a lot of problems. One time I almost got delts tomorrow, first time. Yeah, don't be nervous, Ricky. Go for the medial delt where there's the most meat of the muscle. Ideally, if you can have someone else do it for you, it's even better. I don't have the best flexibility and range of motion. Yeah, the next trip will be like winning the lottery. What do I think of Blessing? I think Blessing looked really good. I was really looking forward to seeing him compete, make his pro debut at the Arnold Australia. Still needs a little more legs. Rami's prep pictures. He has all the details. Yeah, I don't know where I can get the American Muscle episodes. Yeah, I was part of that show. I was the associate producer for 8 years, and I don't even know. I have nothing. I have no contact with the executive producer. I haven't talked to him in years. I have no idea. Sorry. What were we talking about right before that? See how I get off track, guys? I'm sorry, but I'm trying to answer questions as they come in, and sometimes they're way off. Oh, Rami. Rami, yeah, Rami looks awesome by himself. When he's next to, even at the Arnold, when he was next to Bonac, yeah, he looked, what do I think about his prep pictures? All these guys by themselves, if they're top Arnold Classic or top Olympia men, they look amazing. They look, you're like, how could anybody beat that? He's got to win the Arnold. He's got to win the Olympia. But the problem is, you put a few of them together on stage, and what are you going to do? Only one of them can win. Max, that was the best I've ever seen Max shows. But Rami does not have the deep, clean separation between the muscles. He does not have the muscle detail that guys like Dexter and Bonac have. That's why young people no experience trying to sell supplements for and finding your channel. Yeah. Prep pictures are usually taken, they usually find the very best light they can in a gym, some spot where there's like daylight coming in through a window or some overhead light that looks really awesome. But stage lighting, it's merciless. I was talking about this with someone recently. Stage lighting does nobody any favors. It's very, very bright. Yeah, prep pics, a lot of guys, Mason, a lot of guys take their prep pics in the gym when they're fully pumped in the best spot in the gym where the mirror is awesome and the light's awesome. They got this crazy pump in these veins. And that's very different from standing on stage in little trunks blasted by all these lights. Stage lighting is tough, guys. That's why a lot of times you see prep pictures and then you see him at the show and you'll go, yeah, Chad said he overcarved in less details. He also said, I think he was doing body weight squats backstage to pump up his legs, which, why would you do that? Anyone who competes, you learn, do not pump up your legs because you lose detail because fluid gets in them. My cartoon of the cat at Walmart, that wasn't mine. I stole that from somebody. Never ever pump up your legs, guys, before you go compete. In fact, that's why guys stop training their legs typically a week before they compete. No training because you want all the waste products, all the fluid to get out of there so the separation and detail can be maximized. I remember one show I did early on, like 1989. I started competing in 1989, guys, when I was 19. I was 20 that fall, but I was 19 when I started competing, and I was backstage at one of these natural shows, and they had like, it was a high school or something, of course, and they had us in the backstage area. It was like there actually had, it was the school weight room was back there with like a universal multi-machine and all this crap. And I was doing like leg extensions, and the dad of one of the other competitors, although, I was trying to beat his son, he came over and said, "What are you doing? Stop that." And I stopped, but it was probably too late. Actually, I remember my first show I ever did in 1989 was March of 89. Going back a ways, guys, huh? Well, a lot of you guys watching this weren't born yet. Your parents were probably kids back then. Yeah, I was flexing so much the day before, flexing my legs while I was practicing my posing, selecting smaller bodybuilders. Nah, I don't massage gun. Hey, I have a Theragun. I think Flex Lewis, he doesn't need any help from the powers that be. And I don't think the powers that be are trying to push any one person. I think that was much more the case years ago when Joe Weider was still alive and Wayne D'Amelia was in charge. I think a lot more shady things went on back then as far as people being given gifts and people being shafted and screwed. I think the judging is a lot more fair and less political now than it was back in the day. I'm not saying things the wrong calls are ever made. Things still happen. I'm sure there's still occasionally there's still some political crap going on, but for the most part, I think the judges now do a much better job. They're much less biased than they were many years ago, and they're not influenced as much by, I don't know, whoever was Wayne or Joe or whoever was influencing things. Yeah, Mayor, judging is a lot more fair now. Most of the time, the right guy wins. And when people bitch and moan about a placing, it's usually because you'll get two guys they're both awesome, but they just have different looks. You can't have ties in bodybuilding. You have to have a first place and a second place. So somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. And the guy who loses has a lot of fans and a lot of people that can make the argument that he should have won. So, of course, they're going to say this guy got screwed. But most of the time, nobody gets screwed. There are a lot of tough calls. I would never want to be an IFBB Pro League judge. It's a thankless task Because if you make the right call, everyone says, nobody's going to thank you. They'll say, well, you just did your job. You did what you're supposed to do. And if you make a call that people don't like, they'll say, you jerk, what were you, blind, or you bribed, or, why'd you pick this guy over that guy? And a lot of fans don't understand the criteria that the athletes are judged by. So they'll see someone that was in phenomenal condition. Here's a good example. Morgan Ast from France, who did not place very well at the Arnold. Big dude, and his condition was, that guy was shredded. He was dry like a piece of bacon that's been out in the hot sun for 4 days. His condition was the best on that stage at the Arnold Classic. But does not have a very pretty shape and structure. Go back and look at pictures like his front double bicep. Front double bicep is always the dead giveaway. When someone doesn't have good structure and shape, it's always evident in that first pose they call the front double bicep. So I can usually look at a lineup of guys, show me their front double bicep, and I can probably place it pretty well. Show me that and the back double bicep, and those are really the only two poses I need to see, and I can probably give you the placings the way the judges are gonna give them in the end, because you can see everything you need to see pretty much in those two shots. Where were we? What does Patrick Moore need to do? Dan Mayer bodybuilding. Just keep growing. Just keep doing what he's doing. He was very flat, very flat. He had dropped way too much water at the Arnold Classic a few weeks ago, and that ruined his look. You could see in what he looked like in all the prep pictures. The month leading up to that, he looked so much bigger and fuller. He flattened the F out. He just looked like somebody let the air out of his physique, and it was, he's already not the biggest guy compared. He's got great shape. He's going to be really good. He just needs time. He's putting the mass on gradually because he needs to keep that tiny waist. If he loses that, he's screwed. Because I don't think he's ever going to be as enormous as some of these guys like a Ramy or a Kuklo. I don't think he's ever going to have that type of overall thickness. These are guys that are 280, 300 pounds at his height, where he was like 235 or something. So he needs to play to his strengths. He needs to keep that tiny waist, that nice shape and lines. If he keeps that and just adds a little more muscle here and there as the years go by, he's probably will need like another 20 pounds before it's all said and done. Patrick at 260 would be deadly. And he's got a way to go, but he's not in any rush because, like I said, he's not going to blow out his gut to do it, which we've all seen so many guys blow their gut out and they've ruined their physiques. And once you've done that, it's very rare that you ever see it corrected. Rolly Winkler was getting a bubble gut there, and he was able to reverse that. Most guys that get that bubble gut, it's like lifetime curse. They never get rid of it. And Patrick's playing the long game. He's smart. I talk to him. I do interviews with him once or twice a month, and love talking to him. He's very realistic about the sport, where he fits into it. Anytime anyone gets any publicity or is talked about it in a positive way, a lot of people get mad and say he's hyped. He's all hype. And if he doesn't win every contest he's in, people say, "Ha! See what I told you? He's all hype." Peter McGuff. Peter's, if you follow him on Facebook, Patrick, he's doing well, staying away from people. He's dealing with cancer and he's been on chemotherapy, so he's at a very, very high risk of not making it if he catches the coronavirus. So he's staying away from everybody. I love Peter McGuff. He's my favorite writer of all time. Will I ever come back, Civilis? Someday. I need the GH. Somebody send me some GH and I'm good to go. I can't spend that kind of money on myself. I just can't. Someone was just talking about Kuklo, and you don't like Kuklo's physique, you don't like it. Do I think Jay should have beaten Vic, Dex, Phil? Yeah, I think he had Victor that year in 2007, and I think Victor. I think Victor had that show in 2007. I think the 2010 Olympia, Phil had him there. He kept the title. Why? I don't know. I'm not going to speak for the judges, and I'm not going to complain about the judges. It's over. It's done with. It's too bad because will people still talk about shows where they feel were judged very badly. The 80 Olympia where Arnold came back in Australia and won that. 81 Olympia where Franco won with small, smooth legs. That was probably one of the worst Mr. Olympia calls I ever saw. Rest in peace, Franco. Incredible athlete and a legend in the sport he was, but he shouldn't have won that contest. Uh, Jeremy Jazwinski. I haven't really studied that machine. Is it? I think it's like It's electro stim, right? It's some. Correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't really seen it. I've heard them talk about it, but I've never been curious enough to look into it. Is it something to do with electrodes and they hook them up with electricity and jolt them with a ton of electric current? Kai Green ever make a return? Svilkas Furky? No, I don't think so. I think Kai's all done with competing. He's moved on. He's doing so many other things. He's very, very popular in places like India. He's selling his ebooks. He's got his graphic novels. He's got a supplement company. He's got a gym chain in India. I don't think Kai's ever coming back. It's too bad. I miss seeing him up on stage. He was one of the best of our generation. Bodybuilding app? No, no. I've never thought about having any kind of app. I don't know enough about it. I'm not the most tech. I know I could hire some geek, some nerd to do it for me, right? But no, no, no. Never thought about it. Time is it? Gotta check the swatch. Oh, dude, it's time to go. I gotta go eat, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll do these every now and then because a lot of us are stuck. We're indoor cats now. We need to stay busy and stay sane. So everybody out there, you know, we're all in this together, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy. Can't wait to use the gyms again, right, guys? We're all counting the days and waiting till the time we can all get back to the gym and get back to our normal lives. And we just want the world to go back to normal, right? So that's it, guys. Have a great night. Remember, new episode of The Walking Dead tonight, I believe. For my Walking Dead fans, I think there's another new episode tonight, so that's something to look forward to. Ozark season 3. I'm just started watching that. Excellent show. Love that. Altered Carbon, another Netflix show that just released a new season. Other show I'm a big fan of. So that's it, guys. Have a great Sunday. Talk to you later.